This is exciting. All right, well, how far should we hold these bad boys, do you think? About,
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter? All right.
Preferably like not here.
I look so...
Here's
I love holding the mic. To me, it's like, it's aesthetic.
Just chilling.
I feel like I'm about to rip a rap battle in Detroit. I love it. So here we are.
Well, if you're going to do that, you might as well just drop all your flaws like 8 Mile does.
Yeah. You lead with...
Can't read wind properly.
Exactly. Yeah. Bro, us and wind is crazy. But Bow Disciples podcast. But minus, we're down one host. No Brianna today.
No Brianna.
So it's just
maybe next year.
Maybe next
Not
year.
maybe. If you come next year.
Next year.
She'll be here.
Yeah. So it is currently right now windy. Little bit of clouds, but we've had quite a day. We got out hunting early. Got out hunting early. What did we get into? Kind of break it down a little bit.
This morning,
yeah,
we had a slower start because we were out till late on a safari last night. I think we got out like 6:30 this morning. Thank you very much. Are these twist cap?
Yeah, those are. And when you say safari, I just want to set the stage for a viewer. You mean like it was like a real, actual safari, not a hunting safari?
No, not a hunting safari. Yeah. Like lions, hunted a wildebeest, giraffe, buffalo, like a drive through some wild parts.
Yeah,
which was pretty epic.
Yeah.
And then we got home like midnight, so we had to sleep in a bit. We knew we wanted to go after zebra this morning, which was pretty epic. And found them in a spot we've never found them before, which is what we were actually asking for the whole time. And it just didn't work out, 3 hours of stalking. And then when we said, right, we're going to give them some breathing room, otherwise we're going to just blow it completely, they just happened to be in the exact same spot as afternoon 1 when you landed in South Africa, or landed in Elands River Safaris. And I think we both knew it was actually a bit more of a redemption mission. It was like, okay, they're in the exact same spot. They string jumped us twice on that first evening, but we could learn from our mistakes since they are repeating, behavior, and we got it done.
Yeah, no, it was an awesome day. Just, it was one of those stalks that I love where you're making adjustments and kind of letting plays develop, and then part of the benefit of hunting multiple days is that you get to observe animals, and we had seen them walk that route 4 days prior. They didn't do it any of the days in between, but we knew that, okay, they're trending that way. Then we saw them like at one of the checkpoints. It's like, all right, it looks like they're going right to that day 1 spot. And we were able to kind of hustle, get there a little quick, and get the shot. It still was a bit far, but we were able to get it close to where
80 yards.
80 yards, yeah. So we got closer, and we're able to make a good shot. And it's been a fun trip. Obviously one of the interesting parts is how we met. You know what I mean? Like, I think, well, I'll kind of introduce you for people who don't know. This is Outdoors with Travis. He's got a crazy life story, but has been a hunter for 5 years, bow hunter for 5 years, and really
5 years.
Dove into it. And obviously, the experience you gain living where you do, you can learn a lot more in 5 years than a lot of other places where it's like there's less access to hunting, especially year round. So you started YouTube. When was that? 2 years?
Yeah, just over 2 years ago. I think we were like 2 years, 4 months.
Just over 2 years. And why don't you tell the story of kind of how you and I got connected for the first time and like when that was, kind of set a timeline.
Timeline was probably like 2 years ago, very early on in the channel. One of the videos, I was like 4 or 5 videos deep and quite a few shorts and kind of stuff like that. And you were like one of the first big dogs in the industry to like message me like a comment of encouragement, like keep going, this is some good stuff, you're on the right track kind of vibes. And then since then I've just been following your stuff, and we've every couple of months dropped some words of inspiration, and it snowballed from there.
Yeah. So, and I think that's such an important story, because I think that a lot of people, once they get to a certain size, kind of, I don't want to say like act holier than thou, but maybe
cut off from the audience.
They try to cut themselves off almost. And I really try to do the opposite and talk to people who are just getting started, or maybe I've been going a long time and just haven't really seen any growth. Like, that's really important to me because I've been there before. And just one YouTube comment that I'd never intended to get anything from you as a person. You know what I mean?
2 years later.
I just wanted to support you, somebody who I saw doing a good job. And 2 years later, here we are in South Africa hunting together because you saw, hey, this guy could fit an opportunity well. And I just think there's a lot to just being a genuine person and like wanting others to win. 100%. I think sometimes people get so caught up in like, oh, well, if they win, then I can't win. And to me, it's like, bro, there is so much room for multiple people to win.
100%.
It's a big pot.
Endless.
It's endless.
It's endless.
So
especially in the YouTube game, like an audience can be hooked to 5, 6, 7 different YouTubers. It's not because someone's succeeding that you're not.
Yeah, it's such a weird, like, it's like a famine mentality.
Yeah.
But I think it's really cool that we linked up, and it's just so crazy how it happened. Because like you said, we weren't, we talked about it on this trip, but I'm not the type who's like a pen pal and just texting someone all day. Like, I don't do that, and you probably don't really either. So it wasn't like we talked all the time. It was like here and there, maybe a story reply or something. But it was always like...
We didn't even talk that much setting up this trip until like the week before.
Literally, like hardly at all, dude. We went and talked for like 3 weeks. But so what was that like as far as once we had the trip, you know, like scheduled, locked in? What were you thinking coming into it? Knowing I was flying out here, knowing we were going to be spending a week in the bush, shoulder to shoulder, you hunting with a camera, me hunting with a bow. We've never met. Like, what was your kind of mindset?
Oh, number one, I was hoping you weren't a dick.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think I failed that one.
It would have been a long week.
Oh, dude.
It has been a long week.
I don't blame you, especially hunting with me, dude. I'm so like locked in, but
I think we're both so passionate.
Yeah.
And like we said, when we were going after the zebra, before we even got the zebra, it was like 3 hours in, like 2 hunters, super passionate. We're not arguing, we're debating for the best result.
Yeah.
And I think not many people would have the success we've had in 4 or 5 days on foot that we have, because we've been able to, you know, debate it out, come to a really good conclusion, set up a plan and attack.
Yeah.
Or set up a plan and sit our asses for 3 hours and let it play out.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say at all it ever got heated.
Yeah. No,
arguing, but
I love our vibe. It's intense.
We're definitely just never on the same page about wind.
That's the funniest thing. Like right now, if I were to ask you,
a red hartebeest.
If I were to ask you right now, you'd be like, the wind blowing that way, and I would be like, you're out of here.
Coming from like,
see. But no, I want to backtrack, and I do want to get to hunting, like, you know, hunting together and dive into that. But I want to know, like, what was your mind thinking? Like when we're, let's say, you know, a flight was purchased. So let's say a month out. Like what was your preparation as far as like camera gear? Were you nervous? Were you excited? Because like, I'll tell you, for me, this is the trip that's made me the most anxious, and I travel all the time. Like I fly all the time.
Well, it was a far trip.
Well, I've never been. It's people, I don't know a single person here other than in person. And I told you, I'm an honest guy. I did vet everything. Like I found contacts, I vetted everything, because you have to if you're coming so far, and people vouched, and here we are. But my thought process was, I have so many trips after this, like for the next month and a half, 2 months. This one I looked at as like, dude, I'm so like nervous and sort of anxious for some reason to do this huge journey. There's so much unknown. But when I'm done with it, I'm going to feel like I'm just like I'm chill. You know what I mean? So that was kind of my approach, obviously with excitement. You know what I mean? Like if I could describe it. So what was yours kind of like? What were you thinking?
Not much stresses me out.
Not stress.
I was keen.
You were keen.
I was just, that's our word.
Yeah, I know.
That's our word.
I know, and I love it.
I was keen. I had all the camera gear. I didn't have to get anything else. I didn't have to prepare anything. I had to get the guys ready, because obviously we got a lot of renovations at Elands River Safaris that are like 1st June go live, and making sure that they're ready to cater for you and that kind of stuff. But other than that, dude, we just needed to get you and start hunting. There wasn't much to it.
Yeah, and see, that's dope, yeah. And I wouldn't say like I was nervous. I was just more so like this was a big trip.
It was a first-timer.
First time, yeah. And it's always tougher when you don't know even you don't know anyone who's even been to where you're going. Like, you know what I mean? Like directly where you're going. It's just like a lot. But dude, when I get back from this, like we got Oklahoma Total Archery Challenge. Literally a week after I get back, we fly out, and I'm like, bro, that's going to be such like just a vacation for me, bro. Like, I can't wait. It's going to be so mellow, you know?
Compared to this.
Compared to this, just because like I know what it is. Like,
Yeah,
flying,
you know what? It's predictable for you.
yeah, like flying to Oklahoma is like I know what like Oklahoma going to be, but yeah. So let's dive into, you know. So we show up the first day. We get here around noon, and then we actually put in a pretty. Like, we get straight out in the bush. We really don't dick around. We get out there. We have an action-packed day. We don't end up getting anything. But what was your first thoughts of, like, just hunting together? Like, how our hunting styles blended? Like, what were you feeling after the first day?
So that's actually so cool because you've brought one of my worries that I was so worried that you were like a YouTuber hunter. Like someone that wanted it to look hardcore on film, but like in reality, it was like, oh, right there, and it was chilled, and it wasn't even running away. And like we had to add music and everything to dramatize it. So I really like to see like you're super patient. You're willing to sit for like 4 hours behind a bush and let the animals make the next move, and like just some real hunting. And that was pretty cool for me to see. That's what I noticed right out the gate, is that you are willing to sit for hours instead of like trying to force a play, which is quite cool.
For sure. Yeah, and that first day was sure a lot of fun. But tell me about
We learned a lot of lessons on that first day.
Oh, yeah.
Very quickly.
It was a lot of fun, you know, like it's so unusual for a guy like me who's only ever hunted almost only ever public land on drawn tags or over-the-counter tags, and I've hunted like private locally a little bit, but these are like, you know, the animals are still like they're on public and private. They just like move in and out, you know, but it's just so much different, the amount of, like you put it best, dude, it's really rapid fire stalking.
Yeah. You fail, don't stress about it. Go over the next mountain. There's another species, another herd, another fail. Go over the next mountain. Different species, different herd, and you just keep going. And then you find the gems, like we found that in Yala the one night. Like, had no inclination to be going after in Yala, and it just 20 yards in front of us. Well, if you wanted to hunt one, you could shoot it.
Yeah.
So, like, the opportunities are just plentiful.
Oh, dude,
you just don't stop.
It's so much different. Like, it's like hard to, I think, explain. Much like it was hard for you to explain to me what it was going to be like hunting here, like how my mind couldn't process it, sort of. I think it's sort of the same, like me trying to explain it to like you and Novin a little bit. Like, yo, I'm telling you, like it's so much different. Like, you really might spend 2 weeks to find a buck to stalk and then blow it. Most likely you will blow it, and then not see one for another week. Like, dude, it's so much different, you know? And for guys coming from the States, dude, you cannot gain more experience faster, hardly.
100%.
The only way I think there's a somewhat comparable thing in the States would be like a wild pig hunt, because there's not really limits on tags, but like there's also like sometimes it's really hard to find a pig. So it's like you can, like you said, find something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you almost guaranteed to find something. You don't know what it's going to be, you don't know where it's going to be, and you don't even know if it's approachable, but you're going to come across something every, let's say, hour or so of walking. You'll bump into your next stalk that you could potentially execute on. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I would be curious too. Like, I think myself and probably most people like me always see videos or pictures of people hunting in Africa, and it's almost always super flat and super dry.
Yeah.
People are watching this video right now,
and they can see it.
There's huge mountains. Like, this looks like New Mexico elk country. You know what I mean? So tell me about that. Like, why does this area look like this? And why are so many of the pictures that we see in the flat, dry stuff? Why is that? Why?
The biggest hunting community with a lot of outfitters would be up north of South Africa, or even our neighboring countries. And that is typically, I mean, apart from the, you know, a little hill or crest or something like that, it is typically flat. And then hunting season is in our autumn, winter, and then just outside of spring, which means we have drier landscapes. But yeah, we're way south on the coast, almost the tip of South Africa, down south. And so we got the coastal rains, which is usually winters. But for the last couple of years, it's been raining summer, winter, autumn, and spring sporadically. So, I mean, it should be really dry right now, and it's absolutely beautiful. And it's just rolling mountains. I mean, what we're on now is some of the small stuff. What's behind us is the big boys.
Yeah. And that's more what I was really talking about too, is like the terrain is just surprising.
It's gorgeous.
You know, it's bigger, deeper than what I was expecting. Like I was expecting to come out here and be like, this is so much more mild than like most of the stuff I hunt. And
but some of
the terrain's actually quite similar. Like
some of those stalks caught us a little bit,
dude. Like when we went on
that red hartebeest,
what a stalk!
That was awesome. Literally wrapped around an entire mountain, down in a valley, through a river, back up another mountain just to get on the right side of the wind.
Yeah, I'm curious too for you. What would you say, if anything? I think I know what you're going to say, and you kind of mentioned earlier, but if there's any hunting skills or tactics that like you kind of saw me do that you think you're going to implement in your own hunting, like what would that be? And then I'm going to give you one for that
Vice
I've learned
versa.
from you. Yeah.
You know, straight up, it's patience, just patience. And like we said, either it's just natural instincts for people to make decisions quickly and move quickly. I think it's got to do with a bit more my background, and you know, fast decisions and executing on them was like life or death. But just checking how the animals react to us being patient and seeing it firsthand has sold me on the strategy completely. Completely.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a blessed buck walk in within 6 yards, like right into us today, just because we sat in the bush. Yeah. And I don't think I honestly said I think we're only going to get 3 of the 5 animals this trip because it's so tough.
Yeah.
And just using your patience strategy has executed 4 animals in 4 days.
Yeah, we're ahead of schedule for sure, and we got some really cool.
And it's not because it's easy.
No.
Good hunting,
dude. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I have done a ton of spot and stalk hunting on very, very difficult animals to do it, and this is tough. Like it's not easy. I would sit here and tell you if it was easy, it's not easy. You know what I mean? Like it's not. So that's been awesome. And as far as me answering, you care about visual a lot more than I do. And I think that's something I'm going to start just paying a little more attention to.
Is that like the production side?
No. I mean, like you care about animals seeing you more than I do. And I'll tell you why.
Bothers me.
I'll tell you.
There's a couple of clips there was like, fuck, he's looking at us.
So I'll tell you why. I'll tell you exactly why. When an animal would look at us, you would go, duck. I'm like, well, if I duck now, he's looking right at us and he's going to scare him. So let's just stand here. You know, that's my mentality. And it always, because I'll tell you the truth, let's take, every animal's a little different, but let's take my bread and butter, mule deer, what I think I'm best at life at hunting, right? I think that their protective systems, and the thing that makes them so brutal to hunt is they have excellent, all of them, vision, hearing, scent, top of the mountain, all of them, right? But I always rank it like this: wind, number 1 most important by far in a mule deer. Second is going to be sound. Third is sight, and it's not because they can't see you, but if you hold still long enough, sometimes they'll just kind of forget about it almost. And then, but if you blow either of the other 2, if you snap a twig at 70, they're gone. If they smell you, 100%, they're gone from hundreds of yards. So for me, I've always thought that remaining still is more important than like trying to constantly stay behind every single bush. But I'm intrigued by that, and I think we saw some good results with that. So I think moving forward, I'm going to put a little bit more emphasis on cover, just a little bit. And it's not like I totally neglected cover. I'm not saying that, but you almost put cover first, and then scent, and then hearing.
No, look, I think wind is it bothers me when the wind's to my back, and I know the animal's downwind.
Oh, of course.
Wind is number 1.
Yep, agreed.
But I'm always trying to come up with like a brush that's breaking my outline, or I would never just like pop up and drop down.
Yep.
Mostly like stuff like Impala, they'll just lock eyes on you, and then they'll have a staring contest for ages. And because there's such a long, they'll have what you call sentries. So all the other Impala would start chilling, and you'd think you've won. but there's 1 out of 30 that still has its head up waiting for you to move. And if that one puts its head down, the next one will go up into like a protective mode to watch the herd. And so I've just learned, like, get behind something so that it can break you a bit. I wear that little ghillie that covers like my outline, but I love obstruction.
Yeah.
But then in saying that, you also taught me that, like, if you're always focused on obstruction, you're jeopardizing your shooting windows.
Oh, dude.
So like, even today, everything we did, we used obstruction.
Yep.
But always keeping to the left or right of that object.
Always.
So we can, whereas I would normally just get behind it and then try and come around it when it's ready. When it's
right.
time.
And the reason I hate that is because if you're behind something and you go, okay, I'm dead behind it, and then say you stand there, because you know me, like I'll stand there for 2 hours, and then all of a sudden, okay, the animal's right in front of me at 40 yards.
Gotta move.
Now you have to move, though. So, like, if you're just to the side, you can just, as he's walking around, draw. So that's what I love, though, about hunting with
the whole trip
folks.
has been give and take.
For
whole
both
trip
of us.
has been give and take.
And it's been fun because we're both passionate, and, like, I'm going to keep some of that in the videos when I edit them, like us almost like, it almost sounds like we're beefing sometimes because it's intense.
It's a pity because now everyone's going to see just like how terrible you are at reading wind, but
but dude,
no, Mother Nature was pitting us against each other this morning.
Oh my god, dude! my favorite, I think one of my favorite lines from today is you go, "We are really struggling to get on the same page with wind today." I go, "We've been struggling the whole trip on wind," dude. But yeah, I love that. You know, like I want to leave some of that in the edit where you can almost hear there's like a beef or a tension a little bit, but it's not. It's just that we both really want to
so badly want to see you succeed.
Yeah, we both. Yeah, you want to see me succeed, and then like,
and you want
I want to
succeed.
Well, I want to deliver, you know, for like what we're trying to do, and also like as a personal hunter, of course, I want to do my best. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun hunting with you, and you're definitely a good hunter, and it's fun to hunt with good hunters, but I definitely want to get back to what you said about shooting lanes, because that's something that I have to remind, like when I hunt with Brianna or some of the other folks, I'm like, dude, where you're stopped right now is an awful spot. And also your feet are pointed towards the animal. Like you always want to square up in a position where wherever the most likely outcome to get a shot, I want to be sure that I don't have to move at all and I can draw. So like for me, that's mega important. I never want to get stuck somewhere without a shooting lane. So like it's dope that you kind of picked that up, because that is way at the top of my
100%
priority list. But you've shot a lot of stuff, obviously, because you live out here and there's so much variety. What is your favorite animal to hunt out here, if you could pick one?
Yeah, I think we're both on the same page. Like a blessbuck or an impala, they're just so tough. They're in herds. They're goofy. But if I had to pick an animal in general, my number one animal that I've ever hunted was a porcupine.
Porcupine, okay.
And that's the one that you saw in our house that night. You literally came for like a nap,
which was fun. I'm glad I got to come to your house, meet the wife and everything, see your workstation. Tell me why you like the porcupine so much. Why was that awesome? And I want to know if you ate it and what the meat was like.
Meat was awesome. It was there was a lot of firsts on that hunt. Coming into bow hunting, never grew up with hunting. I have a long lineage of hunters, but with my dad not being in my life, it was completely cut from me. Mm-hmm. My grandfathers and everyone before him were fantastic hunters. And so I kind of just had to learn on my own. Coming from the military, bodyguarding, all that kind of stuff, I knew I didn't want to do guns. And so got into the bow stuff after watching a Cam Haynes elk hunt. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, this looks absolutely awesome. But I went on a bit of a bloodlust because we have so much access to hunting, yeah?
Yep.
I just was, every weekend I was on the next hunt, and I would just smoke. I just want to fling an arrow, and so when I discovered the cave and we found these porcupine and all that kind of stuff, there was only 2, which makes you think like it must be a male and a female. And so for the first time ever, I was like, I don't want to kill them. I don't want to hunt them. I want to conservate. I want to see these numbers grow before. And for 3 years, we let them, live in the valley in peace, undisturbed. And when I actually hunted them, there was like 9. So 3 years later, there was 9. And so that was like when I became a hunter. That's a true hunter. The guy that doesn't take the shot in the name of, future herds and future numbers and conservation. And so the porcupine made me a better, it wasn't the hunt itself. The idea of the porcupine made me a real hunter, someone that doesn't take the shot.
That's awesome. I didn't know that whole story, but the meat was pretty good.
Awesome.
White meat, dark meat?
No, it's still a red
meat. Okay.
But all they do is eat and sleep.
So they're tender.
They're super tender.
That's such a cool story, dude. I didn't know that. Did you shoot it with a bow?
I've I always make this joke.
Yeah.
I've shot more people with a gun than I've shot animals.
Yeah. Dude,
I did a survival video. It's on the channel. We got called to a medical emergency that night, so I didn't get to cook it on the video and all that kind of stuff, but I slept in the bush for 3 days in a valley, in the rain and in the mud and all that kind of stuff. And after 2 nights of failing, I realized if I strap a torch to my bow sight and then put my camera right next to me, and if I hear quills on the rocks, I can just click record, then flick the light on, and then wherever I point the bow, I shoot. And I shot them literally like 8 o'clock at night in the pitch black, in the valley, so that the moon and light and everything couldn't get in there.
Which, by the way, is legal out here, so no one freak out.
No one freak out. And it's on it was our farm. But yeah, I camped out for 3 days, and 8 o'clock at night, I flicked on that torch, and it was across the valley, and it was also one of the very first animals that I slaughtered myself, and the taxidermy had to teach me how to do it because it's a very specific way to do a porcupine. So it was when I became a hunter. I wasn't a killer, I was a hunter. It was just awesome.
That's a really cool story, dude. I'm glad I asked that.
We never spoke about that.
No, I love that because I saw the porcupine in your house and you told me like, that's my favorite. Like, now I know why. It makes sense. Like, it has more depth than just the animal, and which for me is really important, depth. And I think you've noticed that too, is like, there's some animals, like some dude showed us a friggin' double horned ram, and I was like, I don't want to go.
Full sheep, and
I don't want to go hunt that, dude.
Look, I mean, what I really respect about you is you're just such a humble dude. Like, you could have shot a sable on this trip, which is one of the most expensive antelope. And you're like, I'm not here for exotics. I'm not here to take you guys for a ride. And in Inyala, we've even given you opportunity on Inyala, and you're just like, wasn't really a part of the deal. It's an expensive antelope. I don't want to do that to you guys. And you've just been very cool about like, let's just stick to the stuff we spoke about.
Well, and to be honest, and you know this, like the animals that I was most jacked up about and I get like the most excited to glass up or stalk are the ones that are like most, they're not the bougie expensive ones. It's like, it's the blessbok.
Represents Africa.
The blessbok and the red hartebeest, dude. I mean, the red hartebeest for me is so cool to hunt just because, number one, they're tough to hunt. Like, I think they're tough to hunt.
Very.
Took us forever to get in there. And Bomar, Josh actually texted me. He's like, dude, you shot one of those spot and stalk? I go, yeah. He's like, dude, that's impressive. So, like, and we put in work, dude. That was like, we grinded.
We hiked an entire mountain range just to get into the right wind.
Right. And, but like, something about it, just their color, their horns, the way they move, their size, like, to me, it feels very North American, sort of, minus the horns. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, it doesn't have antlers, but like, it reminds me a lot of hunting, like, an elk or a deer or a mule deer or something. So, like, that was awesome. And you knew, dude, I was talking about him nonstop. I'm like, I really want to make this happen. And
it was just by luck.
Yeah.
That like 2 hours after we got a blessed buck, we walked straight into Impala.
That just worked.
Wind was good. Yeah. It was raining. Like
our sound was covered.
The thunder. Oh, I was being a little girl. We forget all that was going on.
That was a hectic one.
Because I kept going like, dude, the lightning. Dude,
because you're scared of lightning a little. Yeah, you're scared.
I've nearly got struck, and I fucking hate it ever since.
Yeah, that was funny though. And the Impala, like, I feel like for us in our heads, it kind of gets glossed over a little because it happened kind of fast, but it still was like a pretty epic hunt.
It was actually just luck,
and it was
just so lucky that they were in
an approachable spot that we had so much sound cover. So much wind, like it was good. But dude, I mean, I think
we're not going to say it yet.
Well, this is probably going to be out after the video. Do you think?
Okay, so then we can talk about it.
Well, let's not exactly talk about it just because I don't know when it'll come out. But if it's out, go watch all the hunts from this.
100%.
Be sure you catch them all because they're all. This guy is a phenomenal filmer. And with me being the hunter and like being mic'd up the whole time, like it's good shit.
We caught all of it.
Really good shit. So definitely check it out. But I do, I'm not a guy who like does product placement or talks about products, try to sell stuff. That's not what I do. People know I have a few sponsors, but I'm not out here plugging them. I think we got to talk about the broadheads a little bit. Just like
I'm impressed.
I think we need to, because we had such a spread of shot types.
There was not a single shot that was the same as the other.
No.
And they just destroyed. Every single one, good blood. Down on camera in front of us, every single one. And when people have watched all the hunting videos, they'll understand how crazy some of those shots were.
Yeah.
And they just expired within 30 to 40 seconds of being shot.
And that's such a
30
blessing.
is actually long. It's under 20.
Yeah, and for us watching them, it seems longer just because, like...
Because everything's filmed in slow-mo.
Right.
So
but, like...
drags.
I mean, it's a good time to touch on it, I guess, because you shot Sever a long time, and you still do shoot Sever, and that's great, right? But we shoot a similar type of head, a relatively large mechanical. And I'll talk about the Hartebeest shot in particular. Right away, I was nervous about the shot, not where I wanted to hit him, but...
In your defense.
But, well, I don't even need the defense. I'm only talking about the hit, right? So not where I wanted to hit him. Immediately a little nervous. Starts gushing blood. Died so fast. And that, to me, is the whole argument on why to shoot a mechanical.
100%.
That one hunt. You know what I mean? Because
big wound channels.
Big wound channels.
You know, bad shots can become average shots very quickly.
Exactly.
And, I mean, you know... I don't know if anyone's going to ever see this, but yeah, you adjusted for the wind. The wind was the only reason we got that animal was because of the wind. It was absolutely gushing.
What do you think it was? Like maybe 20-mile-an-hour winds?
Yeah, so I mean in kilometers, I would say it's closer to 27 because that day was the hardest gusts were 46 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, but like again, everyone makes shots that aren't the best. I've made plenty in my hunting career. Many. And I'm a guy who shoots all the time year round. So it happens to anybody.
But that mechanical saved you.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And
that might have been one of the fastest deaths we had. She was dead so fast. I mean, obviously the Impala was the fastest.
Yeah.
But the Impala
when they watch the video, they'll understand.
Yeah.
It was,
dude, I have never in my life, and I don't, when I go hunting, bro, it's not for viewership. Like our hunting videos do less views anyways. It's cool to hunt because I get to watch them in the future, and maybe one day my kids or grandkids will get to watch them. But like, I do not give a shit if anyone watches them. But dude, when we got that Impala shot on film, I go, well, that's a viral short.
Yeah, for multiple reasons.
It's a viral short. You know, like no question. That thing's going to go to the moon.
100%.
And like, that's not the purpose of us being out there.
Nope.
But
It just happened.
You catch lightning in a bottle sometimes, and we did in 120 frames in the rain. You know, it's crazy.
That was beautiful.
But
absolutely beautiful.
Shoot. So right now you're shooting Hoyt.
Mm-hmm.
But you've shot a lot of bows. What has been your favorite compound bow that you felt like you shot the best, were the most repeatable with, you were the most comfortable with? Tell me that. It could be what you're shooting now, could be something in the past. Let me know.
Yeah, so I think we've spoken about this quite a bit on this trip. So I'm not sponsored by anyone, not even Sever. I mean, I shoot their broadheads because I've been shooting them for a long time, and they recognize me and they sometimes share my stuff. So I appreciate the support, but I'm not sponsored by anyone. I work with Magnum Archery, who has the dealership for a couple of brands. So I have been shooting PSE for 3 years, and then shot Hoyt quite a bit, shot Elite with the YouTube channel. Pretty much last year I did 13 animals with 13 different bows.
Wow.
So literally, like, I'd build the bow out, go on a hunt, bring it back, strip it down, get the next bow, go on a hunt, strip it down.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I did 13 animals, 13 different
That
bows.
would be a cool compilation on a side note. You should do a compilation of that. But
so I'm
anyway.
going to do a Sever compilation.
Oh, cool.
And that will all be
cool
in there.
But anyway, sorry to keep
So
going.
the bow that I just felt like an absolute, like a Robin Hood, like I could not miss, to the point that like at 40 yards, I could not aim at the golf tee twice, because I'd just be snapping arrows. That Elite Ethos.
30, 32, 33.
33. I'm a short guy, you know, 175, so probably like 5'6" or not.
No, you're like
5'7",
5'7", 5'8",
5'7",
probably 5'8", yeah.
And so anything longer just gets too long. But man, I just gelled with that. If I pointed, it hit there, no matter. And I also never had target panic. It wasn't twitchy. It was super stable, good or decent speeds. And then obviously just like the Bowtex and now the new Matthews, you don't need a bow press. You can do everything at the limb pockets. So I tuned that bow. I set that bow up for me. And so I just gelled with it. I'm actually a bit sad that I put it back on the shelf because in my heart, I knew that that was the bow I should have, you know, kept out and made mine for a long time.
She was the one that got away.
Yeah. But maybe we'll have to be chatting to Elite sometime soon.
You should. I think you should. I think that would be a good relationship for you. And, you know, you're doing good things. And I think that it's interesting to me. And that's what I talk about on the podcast. I don't try to talk about stuff that like maybe the audience would find interesting. But like I'm a YouTube guy, right? And I'm a content guy and I'm a nerd about it. So to me, it's unique that you do YouTube. You got 10,000 subscribers, but you live out here. You're like the only one. And I'm sorry if I'm missing anyone who's South African.
There's a couple of guys.
Yeah.
But they're not doing what I'm doing.
Right.
They'll post a couple of kill shots or they'll post a client's hunt or something like that.
Not like videos per se.
They are not influencing a market within the archery industry.
Right.
Or at least, again, we both say, like, not in an egotistical way. We might be missing someone, but the way that I'm doing it.
So tell me about that, because obviously when I started in 2018, there was not a ton of people doing archery content, but there was a handful. You know, there was a handful to like, you know, at least know it was possible, and you know, just like when you've seen someone do it, it's kind of like, you know, it's possible, right? You didn't really have that because you could go see that, oh, well, Bo Disciples has made it and Chris B's made it and Cam Haynes has made it, but they're all American.
Yep.
You know, and you are not.
Tough.
So what was that hurdle like? Was there ever a part of you that was like, maybe this is a waste of time, maybe I shouldn't do it? Or like, what really made you want to say, okay, I'm going to film videos and I'm going to put them on YouTube and potentially actually make a living doing this? I want to know that journey a little bit.
Definitely, unfortunately, you know, Americans are very patriotic. You guys are really proud, and so are the businesses. So it's very tough to get them to work with someone international that's not shooting competition. I'm an influencer and a bow hunter. I do not compete in any level. So it was always going to be tough. But if you do something you love with zero expectation or the desperation of it to need to be turned around quickly, so with no speed, understand it's a marathon and not a sprint.
That's a key part.
You have everything going for you. But if you do, unfortunately, you're at a massive disadvantage. If you start something, you need it to succeed fast because you make bad decisions, you make short-term decisions, or you lose opportunities because of that impatience. So I played the long game, and you know, I've spoken to you about it. June last year, I finally could, like, the bow shop was like, why don't you just do YouTube full-time and help us out, you know, with our marketing? And I finally got out of a job that was just crushing my soul, killing my relationship. It was horrible. Yeah. And so, yeah, I grinded it out with zero expectations, but I always, and I said it, and it's the starting line of a big hunting film of mine coming out. And I say I started YouTube with not focusing on the metrics so much, but knowing whether it was a month or 5 years, it's going to bring change. And so I think consistency is key. We spoke about it a lot on this, is like being consistent, being predictable for your audience, and playing the long game. You could always succeed. Someone that's playing a long game can never fail.
Yeah, and yeah, I couldn't agree more. I like a lot about what you said there.
And not to interrupt, I'll tell you now, I think in 5 years, bow brands are going to be fighting to work with me, and brands in the archery industry are going to be fighting to work with me, even though I'm nowhere near your guys' continent. Oh,
sure. I'm sure you will. I believe that too, because number one, you got a good personality. And that's something I really look for. Last night after the safari,
Oh, dude.
we were at a dinner, but I was just watching. I was just watching you vibe with people at the table, because that's something I'm really good at, is vibing with people, making anyone feel liked and accepted. But I was just sitting, being quiet more so, which is rare for me. And I was watching you do your thing, and you were so good at making everyone feel like you cared, you were listening, you were funny, you were engaging, just like, and that is something you can't really, it sucks to say, but it's like you kind of got it or you don't. And that's rough to hear for some people, but like you got it, and then
Thank you.
your film work is so good, and your editing is really good. And we've talked about how, maybe even simplifying a little bit could help you in some ways,
streamlining.
But what you do is so, you are for sure better at videos than me. You're better at photos. You're better at, a lot of things, and you have the recipe. So like you said, if you're doing the long game, it's going to happen. I mean, look at me. It took forever. I didn't do this full time until year 5 or 6. So like, it's just like you said, the long game, consistency, and the biggest thing I see get aspiring YouTubers in trouble. I think we talked about
early sponsorships.
No, well, sometimes I think that can be goofy, but no, what I really think it is people that only work when they're motivated. Because I see people all the time on the YouTube space. I can name a few. I'm not going to in person. But they'll get real motivated, post a bunch, and I'm like, let's go. And then nothing for like 4 or 5 months. And then all of a sudden they show back up. We're taking it serious. I'm going to be out here. It's a flash in the pan. 4 or 5 videos gone again. And the cycle just repeats. And the difference is with channels like mine or Chris B's or Josh Jones, or you name any of the guys that are pretty substantial in the space, the consistency, bro, you cannot
beat it.
You never see me miss uploads. Like, it's not happening, And that's like the mindset that I think if you really want to make it, it's like, no, I am showing up. I can guarantee you that,
Yeah.
And if you got that in personality, I think everything else is just the cherry on top.
It's just time.
Yeah, time, dude. Time. But it's been so fun. I think the viewers will love hearing your story because, you talked about your job, and I don't know if you want to talk about it at all, but like you did security at like a pretty high level for some celebrities, some very rich people. I don't know if you want to dive into that at all, maybe talk about it a little bit, but like, how did you like that? How long were you in it? Did anything from that transfer into your hunting, perhaps, other than the impatience? No, but like, maybe dive into that a little bit.
Okay. So, 6 years old, told my mom going to military. 13, start training. I meet a Royal Marine, and he kind of just changes my mindset on it completely. As a kid, it was just guns, tanks, aeroplanes. I thought I was, going to go do some cool shit like the movies. 13, meet a Royal Marine, and he's like, no, this is actually what's going to happen. Like the first 16 months, this is what you're going to go through. Then you're going to do, and he was just pretty much trying to like sell me on the idea of finding something else that I want to lock into. And I was sold. Growing up with not a strong male figure. Dad wasn't in my family or wasn't involved in our lives pretty much at all since we were 4 years old. Stepdad came in when I was about 6. And the last 5 years of a 10-year marriage with my mom was abusing us. Getting kicked out and having to stay at boarding school with teachers and grandparents for 2 years, and all of that was just prepping me for my dream, which was military. And so, 6 days after finishing my matric finals and washing cars a whole year to save up for plane tickets and that kind of stuff, ship off to the Foreign Legion, get an early medical discharge, blowing both my ankles out. I either have to have an operation, and I'm a base skiffy, and I don't have an operation, I'm still a base skiffy. I'd never be deployed. And I had Angie back home, so who's now my wife. And so the right call for me was just to come home. Like, I wasn't going to be able to achieve what I wanted to achieve. And that's the B game after finishing military, whether it was a 5, 6 or 10-year stunt, was to go into private security. So it was like, sweet, this is done. I'm going to go into plan B now. And so, I had a really good stint of close protection and bodyguarding some very high up people, royal families, celebs, all of that kind of stuff. Got into a hostage situation that got us in a court case for quite a long time where we had to put some guys down. And that snowballed into me wanting to not be so involved in the action, go into more like the corporate side. So the industry that I still understand, but more like a desk job. But unfortunately, because of my background, I was just getting roped up into the bad stuff because guys weren't trained for it. And so you're talking about like husbands trying to kill wives, and we have to breach the house and get him off and disarm him, and shootouts at malls and shootouts trying to recover vehicles. And I just kept getting roped up into stuff. And I think after like 3 shootouts in 3 weeks, me and my wife my now wife said, it's just not worth it. It's just absolutely not worth it. And while I was at that job, I started YouTube. I was bow hunting at the time, 2019, 2020, I started bow hunting. And I had always been into videography, photography, all of it. And I was doing like weddings on the weekends to earn extra bucks and that kind of stuff. And so, 2023, 2022, I was like, let me try and combine the two. I see guys doing it, the Crispies, yourself, Levi Morgan, kind of the educational stuff, Cameron Haynes. And I kind of just morphed the two together of my passions and went on it. It's hard to just go into straight detail about my career in the security industry, but saw some rough stuff. I think a lot of the way that I move in the bushes definitely comes straight back to my training.
Right.
The way I plant my feet on the ground is as if I'm, moving into a CQB kind of situation. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm extremely quiet on my feet. I don't know if you heard that at all. Like I'm constantly heel to toe.
I think we both got quiet feet, I'll be honest. But I do want to get you those sneaks that I got. I want you to order a pair.
Those little sneaks.
They're cheap.
Soft shoes.
$20 off Amazon. I want you to just try them and text me.
Okay.
See what you think. Yeah.
I'll give them a go.
Yeah. I guarantee your noise will reduce over boots by like at least 25%.
Yeah. Well, it's also nice to have those kind of things if you're in a thorny area and you can't go into your socks or something like that.
And stuff doesn't get stuck to them, and they do get stuck to socks.
100%.
So I actually think they're quieter. I've tested a lot. But, dude, I think you would fall in love with it because you love stalking so much. But, dude, that's a cool story. I love hearing.
It's not much detail, but that's
enough detail. I mean,
in a nutshell, I just saw too much contact in too little time, and then the last engagement, I was really just prepping to catch one. There was just too many bullets flying for me not to catch one, and I kind of just had to tell myself, I've got my med kit on me, I've got my IFAC, I've got a couple of TQs on me, I'm going to have to patch myself up. I hope I just don't get something that I can't patch up. Like that's all going through my brain while I'm shooting, while I'm covering, while we're retreating, while we get into cover. And so when that day wrapped up, me and my missus were just like, we're done with this.
I mean, dude, I mean, if you're someone who feeds off adrenaline, that like a job like that, like you can't ask for a lot more. It's so, I mean, that's like excitement at the peak, but I feel like that's like you said earlier, it's definitely a young man's game. And not that either of us are old, but like for that, you kind of are, you know what I mean? But it's so cool hearing that. And I think it's an important part of your story, just like me being a biker in the past is important to my story, and, everyone reaches a certain point in a certain way. And one thing I think that I respect about what you do in your videos and just kind of the way you approach doing YouTube and content is I don't see you trying to be someone else. Like I sometimes I'll watch someone and be like, I know that's not their personality. And like I want everyone to win. I genuinely mean that. Like, I never want anyone to fail, and I wish everyone blows up and accomplishes their goals. That's like what really important to me and what I root for. But sometimes I can just watch somebody and I know them in person and I'll go, this is an act right here. They're trying to like be funny to like be like my videos or something, but their personality might be more educational, more dry, whatever it might be. Just do that, because guess what?
It's sustainable.
The pool that likes to watch me for my personality, there is, I guarantee, a pool that's just as big that want to watch someone that's much different.
Yes.
Just find your audience, connect with your audience, and I respect that from what I can gather and what I've seen. I've watched a fair amount of your videos. I think you do a very good job of that.
Thank you.
So I respect that.
Thank you.
And
well, it's sustainable.
Yeah, because you're not acting.
Unfortunately, and we talk about this even in relationships, we're going full off we don't have Brianna yet to keep us on track.
No, she actually gets off track more than me. I actually had to keep her on track. But that's what makes Bow Disciples podcast fun. We don't stick in the rails, bro.
But we're talking about I talk about it all the time, like that honeymoon phase of a relationship when like girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. that's why I think it's so important for people to like move in with each other, because that facade has to give up and you start seeing the real picture. And that's the same with YouTube. Eventually you're going to get tired, you're going to get depressed, because you have to constantly not be yourself to keep up with the kind of content that you're trying to make. And I think that's why I really enjoy what you do, which is just like point, shoot, put on a clip and post it.
Yeah.
There's no need to fake it. There's no need to change it. And if I've learned anything on this trip is I don't think anything that I do is complicated. I just need to do more of what you do, which is more. Gary Vee says it all the time. Don't create, document.
Yeah.
So don't try and create a whole new thing. Just have a camera rolling and let people see what you're all about.
Yeah. Totally. I mean, I think that Gary's a legend. First of all, I love Gary.
Life changing.
Love Gary. But I wanted to say a quote that I love, and it's a little bit different, but a similar vein of what we're talking. But I love the quote that if you tell the truth, then you never have to remember what you said.
100%.
And bro, I'm never stressed because of that. I'm not a liar. That's like I'm a lot of things, but I'm definitely not a liar. And I think that because of that and being authentic in who I am too, because if you're inauthentic in who you are, that's a lie as well. If I'm faking on camera, I'm lying.
That's your anxiety, depression, and all that
then
stuff
it's like,
comes from.
ooh, is it going to catch up with me type thing? I don't have to think that, bro, because I know that if I said something to someone, maybe I told them that in a secret. I don't want them to tell somebody. But guess what? If they do, it might be harsh to hear, but what I'm saying is true. You know what I mean? At least from my perspective. So I think that's such a banger, and it kind of goes with what you're saying is like, just like, try to be authentic.
Gonna catch up.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And that's the fun part, dude. This trip, like, not only have we hunted, not only have we shared a few drinks, we've shared some dinners. We have ate everything we killed.
Ate everything. Well, no, not red hartebeest yet.
Not yet, but that's tomorrow.
But since we got the zebra, and it was today, we're going to have that today, and we'll have Roy hartebeest tomorrow.
Yeah, dude.
Roy hartebeest.
You got to quit with that. You got to quit with that. So, actually, this is kind of fun, right? This is fun for me and my dad. Shout out to Ted. He'll be watching. He'll love this part. So, there's a lot of Dutch influence here. Tell me about that.
So, literally, the Dutch...
And tell me about Afrikaans language a little. Give me like a spiel of all that a little.
100%. So, the Dutch landed, something like in the 1700s. And so, but through hundreds of years have developed their own slang and own terms. So now it's called Afrikaans. So if you speak Afrikaans in the Netherlands, you'd get by, but it is definitely a African dialect of Dutch. So
yeah.
And
you speak it somewhat, you said. Somewhat.
I understand it fully because most of the businesses I do business with is in Afrikaans. And even their marketing I've pushed to Afrikaans because the community of Afrikaans speaking people is so tight-knit and they support each other so much. Kind of like America is proud to be American. Afrikaans people are proud to be Afrikaans. So the whole marketing strategy is to switch everything from English to Afrikaans and really cater for the market that they're working with.
Wow.
I mean, I would say 85 to 90% of the hunting or hunters in South Africa are Afrikaans.
Really?
That's just the culture.
Well, I heard Novan speaking it to, a couple people, and it's an interesting language. I like the sound of it. It's like kind of a unique sounding, kind of like almost like a clunky sound. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like it pops. It's just like a cool sound. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's cool. But I also was curious. So you just went to the States for your first time, but let's erase that part. Say you hadn't been yet. What is like your thoughts? Like, what do you think of when you think the United States? Like, you know what I mean? What's your vision?
Last 5 years, the only content I could digest is American influences in the bow hunting and archery community. The Crispies, yourself, Cameron Haynes, Levi Morgan, Dudley, on the educational side. Obviously knowing Paige a bit because of Seppi, the owner of Magnum. I understand you guys hunting laws, rules, and how things works for a very long time. But the only thing I've ever cared about is trying to get a bit of hunting done in the States, to be very honest.
So you don't think a ton about like... You don't have like a real view of like the culture or the like anything like that.
Our news covers your guys' politics like hardcore.
Like more than your own even?
Probably even more than your own. Like the way you guys get the news. So like we always know what's happening with Trump or Biden or executive orders that are getting signed or Elon Musk saying something or doing the hand thing and shit's going wild. But so I'm always aware of like the political stance and the stuff that's going on and the California fires, and so I'm aware of all that stuff. But the only shit I could care about is
Going on a hunt.
or just getting in nature. When I was there in Billings, Montana, all I wanted to do is get up in the mountains and just be in nature.
See it, yeah. And you said your dream hunt is
Dream hunt.
Alaskan brown bear, right?
Yes, sir.
So if anyone's watching this, as a hookup to save this guy some rand, to go,
Open the gate for me.
yeah, go on Alaskan brown bear. But
But really, if I could just like you have come to another continent to take your skills that you've honed since you were 6 or 5 years old, like you said, and being able to hunt animals on a completely different continent, I want to do the same.
Yeah.
I haven't hunted outside of the southern tip of Africa. So
Yeah.
that would be a goal of mine, whether it was a whitetail, an elk, or moose, or anything like that. I'd be really keen to put something down outside the country.
I would love for you to do that. I think it would be awesome. Dude, it's really cool. I mean, I don't know. I think I have such a kind of a unique perspective coming out here. Like I've never done something like this. And I know people who have, but like I said, I guess coming over, you kind of think like,
You got a perception.
your perception is that it's, and granted, I will give one caveat before saying this. We have not sat any hides or blinds.
No hides, no blinds.
Everything we done has been spot and stalk, and we did that intentionally because that's what I like to do, what you like to do. And we are probably gonna sit a hide for one.
Yeah, show the facilities, yeah.
Yeah, show the facilities, but I will say again, it's gonna sound a little harsh, but I think like the perception of people like me who hunt like where I do and how, I think they think they're going to come over and it's like kind of like a farmed hunt.
Yep.
It's like a canned, super
Stand
easy
there
hunt.
for me. Do you want to do 10, 20, 30 yards and boom?
I think literally like to us, it's like going out and shooting a cow is what people think it is. And I can honestly say
these animals are wild.
They're wild animals. There's no doubt about that. They are skittish. They jump strings more than pretty much anything I've hunted in the States. I'll just be honest. They are jumpy. Very.
I mean,
they're not easy to stalk. You cannot play around with the wind. You cannot be loud. You got to watch your,
you just can't be sloppy.
You can't be sloppy.
At all.
And that was so important for me to come here and experience firsthand because that is not what I really thought it would be, and I'm so happy and relieved that it's how
it's not that.
No, I'm so happy, and
I mean, that first night we saw Blessbuck on the dam and we had an easy approach. We both were like, well, we thought it would be easy. When we start, nothing's going to pan out.
Right.
But I like it that like we enjoy the hard stuff.
Yeah. And I know that a lot of our audience are guys like me that like to do stuff hard and do the over-the-counter elk hunts and stuff that's brutal. This is definitely, it's not as brutal, but it's still hard and a great way to hone your skills. And that's why I think coming out here is so worth it. Plus, as guys from America, like, what are we hunting in March, April, May? There's no hunting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can come over here.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there's turkeys, but like,
get ready for your September.
For September, yeah. So I'm a fan, and I will be coming back at some point.
And I mean, just
hopefully sooner rather than later, I'll be coming back. And now I have a whole new understanding. It is different. Like, it's different, obviously, and hunting over where we're at's different, but it's still awesome, and it's still hard and challenging, and a very, very good way to hone your skills and get a lot of reps in a short period of time. And 100%. That, to me, is mega valuable.
Some good bow hunting.
Absolutely.
I've always said it's bow hunter's paradise.
And you're right about that. Dude, I mean, where else can you go where in 4 days, I don't even know how many stalks we've been on.
So many.
9, 10. Easily. And that's being selective with which ones we go on. If you just want
looking at like 4 mountain ranges and be like, don't want to go for that. Don't want to go for that. Let's try and make a go for that.
Yeah. So I just wanted to nip that in the bud, because.
But also the rand dollar. You've been saying it the whole time. Like, you guys bring the USD over here. It goes a long way.
Oh yeah, dude. Like food and everything is definitely cheaper. I did get, I got a little bit chapped when they switched the prices out on me.
The taxidermist.
I got to learn a new accent.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, they hear that American accent and they're like, oh, sorry.
Wrong price sheet. So that I don't love, obviously, like who would, but I mean, I get it, but I'm like, that's not even legal in the States. You can't do that. You know what I mean? But like I said, we're somewhere else and everything's different, but I have had a freaking blast.
Incredible.
And we got more days, like
incredible. We might have one more day than we planned.
I know. And then you got some big plans after this.
100%.
Tell me about those plans.
So you're going to leave probably Monday now.
April 1st, April Fool's Day.
We thought you're leaving Sunday.
Yeah, now Monday.
You're leaving Monday. No, we thought you're leaving Monday and you're actually leaving Tuesday. So you're going to be here for another day. But literally when you leave, I'm going to stay on. I'm going to hunt myself. Get in the bush, go for some specific stuff, the bush bucks, the duiker, the inyala, something, I've shot inyala before, but something I haven't shot before. That's my goal. Or something that I haven't shot on foot, and the only other thing is a zebra. So we'll see what happens next week. And then the following week, I'm doing a week of fallow deer rut hunting. So literally while they're mating and going absolutely berserk, kind of like what your elk do and calling and all that kind of stuff, I'm going to be going after them in the mountains, which is about 4 hours from here. But those mountains are these guys.
Wow.
It's just huge country and
Sick.
no cover. So it's just, like you said, it's topo. You're working the curvature of the earth.
Curvature. Dude, curvature is a trip, man. It's like, I think the best example of it would be our Roy Hatabi.
Hatabias.
Bro, that curvature, like we had to dang near get on top of them before we could see them. I want to say on top of them, it was, 60 yards, but it's open country. Theoretically, you could see them from 700 yards, but you can't because of all the curves.
As you get close.
Yeah, because you can't see over the
I mean,
bump.
we stalked for 3 hours, not even knowing if they're there.
Yeah. That one was funny because I could sense you getting impatient. I could sense Travis behind me going, I'm ready to leave, dude. I'm like
I don't think they're here. I really, we have not seen them.
I swear, dude, I was in your brain for that part. I go, this dude is so pissed that I'm still going, bro. Not pissed, but I'm like, I know he's like, what are we doing?
I'll do 14 hours a day with you and I'm happy.
Yeah. And then, dude, sure as shit, we look over I learned they're not anthills. They're termite
hills.
Termite hills, which are a trip, dude. I've never seen one of those.
Like termites or?
Hills. I've never seen those.
And they're giant.
They're big. Good vantage points. Yeah.
Great.
So, dude, it's awesome. Like I said, it's been a blast to hunt with you. We still got more to do.
Got more to do, more days.
Yeah, we film friggin' bangers. We're going to film more. But yeah, I really, like I said, I respect you a lot. I think you're doing good things. Keep going. And
thank you.
I hope that everyone listening to this got a kick out of having Outdoors with Travis on, and be sure to subscribe to him. And if you want to come, hit the bush, check out Elan's River Safari. And it's freaking awesome, dude.
I always use that line. It cannot be explained. It has to be experienced. You have to get out here. And
I don't think I could word that any better.
Anyone that loves bow hunting will be obsessed with this place.
Paige told me when I told her I was coming out here, she said, dude, you're going to love it. You're going to want to go back. I go, okay, and you just don't get it. Like you said, you got to come.
Yeah.
You have to come.
There's only so much people can show you videos, photos, tell you about their experiences. But once you step foot here, it's something else.
And the thing is, it's okay, you got to pay to fly over here, pay to hunt. But it's not you only live one time. So give it a shot. I'm glad I did. I almost several times was maybe I just won't do it. And I'm so happy that I did. So I encourage people who are on the fence like me, and I'm sure there's a lot, just give it a shot. What do you got to lose?
100%.
What do you got to lose?
No, there's just some bad misconceptions, and I think you're going to squash them by showing your videos and how we hunted and how we worked. And then we said, for the people that don't want to walk and stalk, that maybe have injuries, maybe their health isn't top notch, there is hides, there is blinds, there is tree stands. You can do all of that as well.
Yeah, you can do.
We just chose to get the good old-fashioned legs working.
Yeah, there's options, and I think that's really cool. Also, Elands River. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to jump the gun here. So if I'm wrong, just nip it in the bud. But it's only archery hunting. Is that correct?
So yeah, they did some gun hunting in the past, but it was mostly private or with friends and family, that kind of stuff. But since I've come in, which is about 6 months now, we have converted completely to bow hunting.
So there you go. Dude,
If this location was hunted with guns, we would have had a terrible time.
yeah. Oh, dude,
Because the animals are completely traumatized.
Oh, I could
completely
imagine.
traumatized.
So for me, archery only is insane. Like, that's a huge point to me. So obviously our whole brand is based around bows. So to anyone watching, you can come here. There's not going to be gun rounds banging off.
Yeah.
You can.
And what's so important, can I tell you, when I was in Montana, people ask this all the time. Elands River Safaris does not do two groups in one go. So if there's one hunter in one group, the entire ranch is his. If 6 friends want to come here together, the entire ranch is theirs. You never share, which bothers me sometimes when you go to a place and you bump into people you don't even freaking know.
Yeah.
And you don't know how their safety is. You don't know how their awareness is. You don't even know how they stalk. And now you got to share this piece of valley or something like that with them. So when you come with your one person or 6 friends, it's yours. This whole area is for you guys to hunt.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know that either. I did not know that either. And what I really like is, I love getting up early. I love getting up before the sun, hiking up to a glassing spot, setting up my tripod and really looking, pounding the hills, like with the eyes as well as the legs. You can do that here.
All of it.
You can do it. So
We've done it almost every morning.
we have. And today it worked out, man. Today was awesome. We were just... It was kind of one of those things like us, the wind was funny, of course, a funny conversation, but in reality, the wind was at our back regardless of which way we faced today. We couldn't get it right.
And at some points, if we're facing each other, we'd both swear it's at our back.
And it was probably because, dude, the wind is shifty here, but it's shifty anytime you hunt
But
mountains.
like now, it'll be like this.
Now when
it'll
it's
be
blowing,
perfectly
yeah,
constant.
when it's blowing hard. So when I hunt mountains a lot, right? Just like this, mountains create, especially when it's not blowing like this, dude. It's always
Swirls.
shifty but that makes you a better bow hunter, dude. I'm telling you, like it really is a crash course out here. I would say to anybody who, let's say you got a bull elk hunt in 2 years and you've never shot anything with a bow and have zero experience, I can guarantee you that if that hunt is on public land and you do not have an outfitter, probably even then, you are not going, like the odds of you filling the tag, 1%. If you come here first and hunt for a week and at least practice, hone some skills,
Have a great time.
your odds are going to bump up a little bit.
Yeah, have a great time. Get animals on the ground. You're not just coming here to quote unquote train, but
Yep.
it's some valuable skills learned in a very short space of time. Like you said, guys might only stalk once, twice, 3 times a year on an animal, and we've done that in like an afternoon
Exactly.
on 3 different herds, 3 different species.
That's worth some travel and some investment to me.
Yeah, and I think what you said is on point. Like vet. Make sure these people have catered for other people before. Make sure you know someone that's been there before and knows them, because there's a lot of scams out there. So you don't want to be suckered into paying thousands of dollars, landing at the airport, and no one's there to pick you up.
Oof.
So work with people that you know,
Yeah.
or work with people that have been vouched for by people that you know. And honestly, I don't know anyone that has come here and not come again afterwards.
Yeah, I would come again for sure. I really would. No doubt I would. Like, it's a trip because when we first drove in and you see like how, the animals are playing animals, some of them. So they just stand out there, and then because you don't shoot guns and you don't shoot them from cars, they'll stand by. You can drive by them,
20,
and then
30 yards.
And when we first,
I remember when we first got you.
when we
I
first,
could hear
let me
your
put you,
thoughts.
let me put you inside my mind where you're going. I'm like, oh boy, this is like my worst. This is what I didn't want, And then sure enough, that's not how it is.
Come to the lodge, get our camos on, go on foot, everything's gone.
Yeah, exactly. So I will tell people this: when you show up, like if you come to Elands River Safari, because I am not, again, I'm not the type to, I'm not going to sell if something's like ass, but this is legit. It's fun. Very good learning. But I'm telling you, when you pull up, you probably will have a moment where you're like, oh God, most likely, but give it a shot. That's what I'm saying. When you get here, go on some stalks.
And you'll realize very quickly.
Exactly.
And it's just simply because the car is not a threat.
Yep.
And we went on safari yesterday and they actually said it. They see a vehicle as one unit, not that there's human beings actually sitting in it. So they see the car, they don't see the people.
Interesting.
And so, but, I mean, I go to places where guys just shoot off a car all the time. You won't get within 500 meters of the animals with a car because they just associate that as much of a threat as a wild predator. So it's only because Eland's River Safaris doesn't do sketchy stuff like that you can kind of drive up in a car. But
which is actually kind of, in a way, nice because, I don't know, if you bring your kids or your wife or something, you
a
actually
bit of a drive, go see the animals.
Yeah, you can do a little bit of a safari.
My word, step your foot on the ground and everything's just scattered.
Yeah, and I do want to say one other thing. It's not like you can drive by, like, let's say, pull up on the side of a zebra and then say, okay, you get out the car, we'll pull off and you shoot them. No, that's not allowed. Like,
it's not how we roll.
You can't be within hundreds of yards of it with the vehicle.
I mean, every time we've been driving, we'll stop an hour stalk away.
Yeah, exactly.
At least.
Exactly. So
we'll stop it behind a mountain and then have to hike it and get around it and get down it and get upwind.
And to me, that speaks well, to elands. And I think for guys like me who have the perception, which is not uncommon, I think it's probably the common conception, is like that or perception, sorry. I think that is, it's kind of calming to know, that, because you, like you said, you could hear me just go, oh, God.
I could hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they're not even running away. He's probably going to think this is so easy.
Yeah.
And I just knew the minute we get out, you're going to realize what it's all about.
And thank God, dude. I would have been so disappointed, bro, if we just
we like it difficult. I wouldn't oversell it either. Yeah. I'm not a guy that sells something or speaks about something that I'm not absolutely proud of or don't absolutely believe in. So when I told you that we're going to have a good time, we're going to hunt hard, it's walk and stalk, spot and stalk, like, we did it. We've done it the whole time.
Dude.
But
sick.
I don't think we would have been as successful if it was like just me. I learned some valuable lessons on how you like to stalk that I think are just perfect for this environment.
Same here, dude. Learned a lot from you. And for me, sometimes, we've talked about it on the pod before, I'm not the easiest guy to hunt with because I'm not, I'm not one to like toot my horn, but like hunting is the one thing that I know I'm very good at. You know what I mean? Like, it is what I'm talented at. Like, not like you're a talented editor and you're talented at a lot of things. But that is the one thing that I'm like, I'm very good at, So for me, sometimes it's tough to hunt with someone else where I'm like, dude, just like, if I'm like the guide, I'm like, just shut up and listen type thing, when that's a horrible way to be. And I kind of like, I'm not saying you did that, but like the first couple of days you were giving a lot of input and I'm like, oh, this is what it feels like when I do it to others. You know what I mean? I shit you not, dude. You taught me a good lesson just by us interacting. And then after that first day, the two of us learned much better how, like, our first day was kind of rough. Granted, like, I was tired as shit. You were tired as shit. Like, I'm sure that played a factor.
I'm normally with people that I'm not only,
you're guiding.
I'm like mentoring.
Right.
And so I very quickly had to just remember, like, he's been hunting for 20, 25 plus years. Like, he does not need me to tell him how to hunt.
Right.
Maybe just like where the animals might move, what kind of, whatever I've seen while I've hunted. Yeah. That's some valuable input.
For sure.
Like, leave you to just do your thing.
But dude, like that's what I'm saying though, why I like hunting with others is because you never know what lesson you're going to pull from it. I actually learned, and it's not a knock on you, it's just our first day, like I said, learning how to work with each other, being super tired.
And passionate both.
And both being passionate. Like, I learn now, like, oh shoot, you know what? When I say shit like that to Brianna or my dad, like, it probably makes them feel like ass, like really dumb. And that taught me such a good lesson. Do you know what I mean? And it wasn't your fault. It wasn't my fault. And it was just like how we were interacting. And then by day 4, bro, like, we've learned how to hunt with each other a lot better. We'll still like
with a very high success rate.
Very high, yeah. I mean, we've shot. So our goal here was 5 things. Unfortunately, one of the animals we aren't going to get a crack at, but we're replacing.
But there's other things.
Yeah, we're replacing that
We
with.
can do it in Yala, and we can do a bless buck.
And I want to go after another blessed buck. So that's going to be our plan. And if we get it, we're going to go 5 for 5 because 5 was our goal. I'll be very proud of that. So we're going to go out there.
But there's a twist.
There's a twist.
There's a twist.
You tell the twist.
No, we're going to tell them now. When is this podcast coming out? We've left certain details out.
It'll probably be out. it'll probably be out next Wednesday.
Oh, that's not
Not
enough
this
time.
coming one, the one after.
That's not enough time.
Yeah.
Let's just say we're putting the theory of camo to test.
To the test.
That's as much as we
Yeah.
can. Is it that important?
Yeah, and I know my opinion, but I'm going to hold it till after we do the video.
Yeah.
You know what
Well,
I
let's
mean?
prove it.
Yeah, let's prove it. Yeah. And I can't wait to get out there. So you also have shot a giraffe with a bow.
Yes, I
Okay, now that's one that can get you in
controversial.
hot water, especially if you're in America and you post that like
At least I'm not a dentist.
Yeah.
You can't cancel me if I have no money.
Exactly. So tell me about what was it like aiming up at something? Like, because I've shot uphill, I've shot like deer uphill. But you're actually on flat, I'm assuming, aiming up.
Very flat. Look, it's almost like aiming for a 100-yard shot. It's the same kind of pitch. But it was more the training, the preparation, learning that, because it's the only animal, and I never told you this, I've got a whole pitch deck to help people understand African hunting and shot placement and all that kind of stuff. It's the only African animal that's vitals are absolutely not in the same place as any other animal in Africa.
Huh.
If you shoot it where I've been teaching you to shoot all the other
Like
animals,
super forward.
it's so forward.
Oh,
so
you got to hit them even further forward.
even not up the leg, you're missing vitals.
So you have to hit them like in front of the leg.
Like that elbow that goes so far out. I always call it the boob.
Wow.
You have to hit them in that sweet spot over there. So it was training, understanding, and it was the third animal I've ever hunted with a bow. The opportunity came and I took it. So not only was I a very new bow hunter, but I had to learn a whole new species to understand how I must shoot it. So that was cool. The only time I've ever shot an animal with a fixed blade broadhead.
Oh, really? Which one did you use?
Two blade single bevel Oscut.
And how was the performance?
Pass through.
Pass through. Broadside.
Broadside. Yeah.
Broadside.
Yeah. So it literally went like 60 yards.
Ooh, dude. Do you know how much time we have left? Can you check that real quick?
1 second.
Quick little break. Oh, I did want to touch on something because you said you passed through that giraffe with the fixed blade.
Yes.
Kind of a broken record, but it's always such a kind of a good topic. I, for the first time, broke into the 500 club with my arrows, weight-wise, this trip.
Yes.
And we blew through 3 of the 4 things like butter standing still on a hot day. I blew through by 10 yards into the dirt.
Like crazy stuff.
So...
Are you saying you haven't had that?
I'm somewhat intrigued. No, I do not. Normally, I do not get many pass-throughs, I'll be honest. And maybe the animals are harder that I'm hitting. That's definitely possible. But I've shot a lot of animals at shorter distances and not had pass-throughs with my old setup. And again, that could be a body composition thing. Or it could be that these heavier arrows...
A heavy arrow makes for a nasty combination.
Or it could be a combination, both things kind of. But yeah, dude, I got to tell you, I have been so impressed with the arrows and the broadheads' performance. Just how hard they're hitting stuff and just blowing so far through. And then not only skipping, they're actually digging into the dirt.
A good half arrow length sometimes into the dirt.
10 yards past the animal. That's incredible. And I know that you were the one, actually. You're the reason I brought a 516 grain arrow. Did you get that idea from Seppi at your shop, or did you get it from YouTube? What made you kind of choose to go a little bit heavier than, say, your standard 440 grain?
The dude that introduced me to bow hunting, crazy fella. Good for. We're going hunting for our birthdays in May. I'm 7th. He's the 25th. We kind of go in between the 18th and the 25th. So a very good friend of mine, and he's he unfortunately he's got a shoulder injury, so he has to shoot lighter because he's shooting lighter poundage. But he was obsessed with, who's the guy overseas that's always talking about heavy arrows that you guys talk about?
Ranch Fairy.
Yes. So he was obsessed with Ranch Fairy's theory.
Yep.
That's a tongue twister. And so he was obsessed with the 600s and the 650s on just like average antelope. I was never there. I've always believed in a weight and a blend of speed is going to get you like anything you want to hunt. But yeah, I messed around. I started at 420, then 450, then 470, then 500, then 520, then 550. And I've been hovering around 550 to 580 for the last 2 years. And really the first time I built such a heavy arrow, the 550 to 580, was for a survival hunt. It was my first survival hunt on the YouTube channel. No, it wasn't. It was my first walk and stalk hunt. And that is also on the YouTube channel.
Okay.
A female wildebeest, 33 yards, frontal. She was actually in motion.
So is it frontal how I call it or how you call it?
Quartering to.
Okay.
Fucking.
Oh, dude.
I'm like, where did you shoot it? Yeah, like in the front. Well, frontal.
No, quartered to. So it was
Anyway,
so it was quartered
So
to.
it wasn't like this.
Yeah.
She had her head turned and I put it down the side.
Okay, got
Quartering
it.
to.
And what was the penetration?
It like came out her hind
Her
quarter.
rear quarter.
And that is a thick animal.
Thick animal, yeah.
And it's not the soft stuff when you're sitting in frontal. It has to go through all the tissue, the muscle, the meat, and it just blew through her at 33 yards. We got lung, heart, liver, and then stopped she just went down on camera. And so I was like, if I can do that to a wildebeest, I could pretty much do that to anything. And I've been shooting them since. And then I wanted to go to a light arrow on this property, one of my last hunts, 470 grains. And but I used a 2-inch broadhead sever that locks open, but it has that swivel mechanism.
Oh, yeah. That's a cool tip.
But dude, it stopped like a freaking handbrake, like 1.5 inches into the hide at 88 yards.
What was the animal?
Blessbuck.
Blessbuck.
And it was a perfect.
You didn't shoulder punch it? Hit it in the shoulder?
No, it was perfect double lung, quite a bit back as well.
Interesting.
It just didn't get penetration. And that bothered me because I get pass-throughs on zebra. I mean, at 88 yards. My furthest actually 76 at Blessbuck 88. And now recently I did a Blessbuck 99 complete pass-through and stuck into the ground. So I've never had that before, and I think that shied me away. But then when you built the 500 grain arrows, I thought to myself, I have to give it another chance. It was just a fluke thing. I don't normally shoot big cutting broadheads. I'm like a 1.5 kind of guy.
Yeah.
And now they have a hybrid, so I shoot the hybrid. And so I'm going to give it a go. After all these hunts, I was going to do it on a Saturday before you landed Saturday night.
Yeah.
Like re-sighting, retune, everything. But when I get back, I've got 470 grain, 4mm deep impact arrows. I'm going to change out the fletchers because they are just too giant for such a small shaft. And I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to see
I think you should.
how it performs on all these animals that I'm hunting.
Yeah. I personally think for your test, you should go lighter. But either way,
String jumping.
I think it'll help.
The string jumping, we saw it on this trip.
Several times.
I don't have it as much. Again, maybe we can get into that very short conversation, but fletchers. I mean, no matter what, I mean, you've been shooting great. When we slow down that footage, exactly where you're aiming is where impact is made. But I do believe those, like Bonin has incredible range of fletchers. And I would have liked to see like a little bit low profile, rounded edges, keep it as quiet as possible. But we're smoking them. But I'm starting to realize if my arrow can just get there a little bit faster,
yeah,
I don't have to worry so much about how reactive they are. Because you saw it on that Blessbuck at 70 yards, it was 2 animals away by the time the arrow got there.
Yeah, wasn't that crazy?
2 full body lengths away.
That was insane. I would be interested for you to, if you can, reduce those arrows even more.
I'm going to bring it down. I'll go on a hunt and I'll give you the data.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want you to try it and see how it is. Like, I want you to, just
all archery is about confidence.
For sure.
And confidence in your gear.
Dude, and I'm telling you, like,
the guys that taught me were shooting 400 to 420 grain.
Yeah.
They blew through everything. They killed everything they shot at. The only argument I make is the way we hunt. Hide hunting is very easy. The water trough or whatever is positioned, especially in Africa, it's positioned in a way that it forces them to be broadside. Wait for the shot, execute it. The only thing you have to face is if they're a bit jumpy. Then you know they're going to string jump you some bit. But it's a 20-yard shot, 25-yard shot. What we take is we have to take the shot that's presented to us before it's too close that we don't have an opportunity.
Yeah, and sometimes
so
it might
it's
be
frontal, it's quartering to, it's quartering away. It's weird stuff that we need our arrows to be able to penetrate more than just soft tissue broadside shots. And so that's kind of why I built a heavy arrow, but you're not that much longer in draw length than me, and the speed would make up for the weight that I'm going to be shaving off the arrow. And so I'm keen to...
Yeah. Oh,
I think everything's opinionated.
Oh, dude.
Guys are successful with 400 grains on a freaking bison. Guys are successful single bevel 650. I think we need to shoot what we believe in. So when we're in the bush, we go with confidence more than anything.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think whatever setup that you feel most repeatable with and most confident and comfortable in, that's what I think you should go with.
And I told you this morning, I saw a guy post, it's like a super old bow, like 20 years old. You could see like not a ton of money in gear, and they had shot a red stag in New Zealand. And I was like, I told you, I'm so happy to see people using like older gear or more affordable gear, because you don't have to get super focused on the gear.
Yeah.
It's all about the confidence and the execution behind the apparatus or the bow or the crossbow, whatever you're shooting.
Yeah, without question. Without question. I almost entirely wear Camo from Walmart, which is like a superstore, super cheap budget store. Like this, I bought for like so mega cheap. None of my gear is, I mean, now that I have some sponsorships, I have access, because you know me, I'm a cheap bastard. So like, but prior to having sponsorships, bro, most of my shit I had for 15 years. You know what I mean? Even now, still some. Like my rangefinder, at least I've had a decade, at least, you know, but it's not about the gear. It's really not. And I do shoot gear I like, for sure. But gear is not going to make or break you being successful or accurate. It's just not. And maybe my sponsors wouldn't like me saying that, but it's the truth, you know? And
I don't like seeing kids, trying to afford a $2,000 bow because they watched a famous influencer's video and they think they need that. Like you really don't.
No, yeah, you just refine your hunting skills.
If you get your ego wrapped up in it, it gets very expensive. But if you love hunting, then you would get anything in your hand so you can get out there and actually hunt.
Facts. All right, I want to know about you've talked about it numerous times now, kind of your local bow shop. So I'll tell you about mine, right? So in San Diego, we used to have 3 shops. Now we have 2. I go to one of the 2, and then the other one I'll go occasionally to practice indoor. So we have bow and arrow shop, and then we have performance archery. And I always go to bow and arrow shop. That's just where I've always gone, so that's where I go. And then it's great. There's kind of a sense of community there. There's good archery knowledge. There's people to work on your bows. I would assume that your bow shop experience is somewhat similar to that. Like, is that the case? Like, what's a pro shop look like out here?
Obviously,
and what is
there's a lot less pro shops because we're a much smaller country, much smaller hunting community, especially in the archery business. But I work with a company called Magnum Archery. So they're up in Pretoria. It's like a 45-minute drive from me, but a very popular part of town, should I say. And I actually wasn't always working with them. When I was running my YouTube channel as like a bit of an independent for about a year and a bit, and then I realized like I had a lack of access to gear. I couldn't do gear reviews. I couldn't do, any of those kind of things. And I was running out of opportunities to make proper content. And the same dude, James, that I'm going hunting with and introduced me to bow hunting is the same dude that introduced me to the owner of Magnum Archery, Seppi. And we met February last year. I had 1,000 subs at the time. And he was just like, let's give it a go. Like, I've got nothing to lose. You shoot a bow, you go do your thing, you bring it back, switch it out for another one, and you make your videos. And, he's a very long-term kind of guy. He's like, I'm not going to reap the benefits right away, but I know you're going to make a success of it, and we're going to bounce off of that success at some point in the future. And he just believed in me. And from there, I was able to tap into high-end bows and high-end gear and good bow technicians and guys that could teach me. And quite frankly, I don't think I'd be here today without him giving that opportunity, because it was this very same guy that, June last year, I called him to say that a big court case where an arrest went wrong, it was finally over, and I can not have to explain to employers why I need to go to court twice a month without them thinking I'm just some scallywag. And he's in the same phone call was like, well, you won't believe it. I just told my wife this morning, I think I need to talk to you about, doing YouTube full time and coming to help us out and get us, more updated. And I resigned the following week, and every day, or if not every week, he drilled like, this is a stepping stone. You're not going to be here for long. He's like, try and set us up, but you're not going to be here for long. You're not going to be here for long. And, beginning of December, end of November, I told him I'm starting my own business, and he was just like all in, wanting to support me. So he's just been pivotal in being like that support structure, a ready and a successful entrepreneur. But he saw value in me. He saw potential and future value in me. And he's just been, super pivotal in the reason I can do this for a living. The reason I can sit here, or I can hunt for the next 3 weeks making content and not sit in some cubicle or be on the road in some kind of shootouts and stuff like that, and that kind of nonsense. Like, just super pivotal in just like an engagement in February, an opportunity in June, constant motivation that I'm meant for so much more. And this is just a stepping stone to being like my first client in my business that I started. So yeah, I would say probably the most influential guy so far in the journey.
So look at that. A local bow shop led to like networking, essentially, that changed your life.
Well, again, I told you this. I wouldn't have known the gentleman that owns Elands River Safaris if I didn't get the opportunity at Magnum and happened to be in the shop the day the guy that owns this comes in and says, my friend shoots a bow, and it really intrigues me because I've hunted with rifles for 30 years. And it's like, oh, cool, well, let me get you set up. And he's like, well, you know how he talks. My China, you must come hunt with us, my brew.
Yeah.
And we just hit it off. Yeah. And then that was my second client. And then I have the Target business, Wild Creek 3D. And it just snowballed from there. But it all stems from a dude that was like, this dude with 1,000 subs that doesn't deserve the resources I'm about to give him, but I know he's going to make it someday, and I want to piggyback off that. And so just incredible journey so far.
Yeah, I mean, so often in life, I've noticed, and I've experienced this many times in my bike riding journey, my real estate journey, and now my hunting and archery journey as like what I did for a profession. Each one of those times, it always took one big door opening and someone giving me a shot. And beyond that, it's like you prove it. Okay, they gave me a shot. I'm going to make it well worth it. Then you do. They might say something or someone else notices, another door opens. Once you get that first big door open, bro, the sky's the limit. As long as you don't
to yourself, work hard, and don't burn the bridge.
Yeah, and
don't bite the hand that fed you.
Right, and most importantly, like, don't be a fraud. Like, if you claim to provide a certain thing, or like in my sense, like when sponsors work with me, generally it's that I provide viewership and constant output of content. Now, if I signed with if I signed a 1-year contract and company's paying me money, and then all of a sudden I just stop posting, that would be me essentially dropping the ball and being a fraud. Don't do that.
Stick to it,
and you're good to go. But I just think that's so cool. You got that couple doors open, and it led to more doors, and
also do a good job looking after people that gave you that opportunity, and other opportunities. Just like, I've actually had to put a bunch of things on pause until the end of April. It's just a busy month. Like, no client meetings, no potential, but these guys are literally opening doors just because you've looked after them. And that's, be genuine, look after the people that have looked after you, and you'll go a long way. And you said it the other day, when people are switching friends and switching sponsors and switching people that they hang around with frequently, there's a problem.
Be very, very careful with those people. And unfortunately, I've been bit by a couple. Luckily, not too many times. But I will say this, although the situation really sucked, and I'm going to talk about it because I've mentioned it many times. I've never talked about it, but I'm going to talk about the situation probably in like the next podcast I do. But I'm in a way very grateful that I got burned so badly and out of pure spite and evil. You know what I mean? Like, no, there was nothing true or grounded, because you know what that did, dude? That all that did was light a major fire under me, and I turned into rocket fuel, dude. When that whole situation happened, I think I had maybe 10,000 subs and like 4,000 on Instagram, probably not even 1,000 on TikTok or Facebook. Maybe they didn't even exist yet. Now we're at 100 on YouTube, 76 or whatever on Instagram, 27 on Facebook, 20 on TikTok, all since then. That was when it started. So, because all it did was put wind in my sails. I didn't change as a person.
100%.
So if you can use people that have evil intent to just say, oh boy, you've really messed up by going against.
Well, we said it last night. Make your success your revenge.
Exactly.
And not that must be your motivation whatsoever. Right. But, rather than swooping down and fighting at their low level, focus on you, stay on the path.
That's it.
Keep moving forward, and your success will be your revenge.
Bingo, dude.
And a lot of these people just want to pull you down. And
crab in a bucket, we call it.
You know what I've noticed, and this is something I haven't told you, but we speak so deep about all this stuff, is people like us that shoot for our dreams, like quit a job and decide they're going to do YouTube full time with a company and all that kind of stuff, and really shoot for it. People have animosity towards us because we expose their lack of action towards their own goals and dreams, and it creates insecurities, and instead of acting on them, they lash out. And those are the people that are sending the shitty comments and shitting on you and trying to tell you that you're a shit shot or whatever. Those are the people that just don't have enough going on in life or aren't going for the thing they want. And it's just creating this animosity that they're watching someone do it when they're not doing it. And so I always say, you are exposing something in themselves that they don't like.
Yeah, in a way it's a therapy session or like a self-reflection session, And I've been guilty of it in the past when I was younger. There was a guy from my hometown that was kind of doing like early on, like YouTube influencing, essentially, like really early as far as like where we're at now in YouTube. And I used to watch him out of like, oh my gosh, look how trash that. I used to be that guy. I really did. I'm not anymore.
Jealousy disguised as hate.
And now I'm a fan.
We spoke about it last.
Yeah, like we're friends. Me and that dude are friends now. You know what I mean? And like, but I will never have that mentality towards someone again. It was just me being in a loser space and not like having a whole lot going on. And then you start to like, oh, well, the only reason they're doing it is because of Bobby. Like rather than doing it, you're just like making excuses. And
I said it to you last night.
Yep.
It's easier for people to believe that they had the potential to be a success than rather shoot for it and fail. They would rather live in an alternate universe of success than actually do it.
Yeah, like a pretend thing.
I could. Believe. And I said I could. I could do the videos that motorcycles is doing. I could.
Oh, sure. I could. Go ahead.
But there's no action because they know the level, or one, maybe they don't realize or overshoot their potential, but there's a chance of failing. And people are just so fearful of failing.
Dude, so true, man. And like I said, dude, I really appreciate you giving me this opportunity and kind of choosing me as the first one to kind of...
Not crying. I got so much sun cream in the left eye.
But, dude, I just appreciate you giving me the chance and believing that I would come out here and do a good job with you guys. And
I'm just so glad we got along. Very similar personalities, similar hunters.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever laughed so hard in a safari drive as I did last night. I think our car hated us.
Only one lady. Only one lady.
We were the goofy kids at the back of the bus. But it's been such a good time. And this is the power of YouTube. This is the power of social media.
We're sitting here on the opposite side of the earth together.
And we had never met until the day you landed to come and sleep at my house.
That's special, man. I mean, I know sometimes people like to, especially, I don't know, sometimes people have a very bitter view towards the internet. And if it wasn't for the internet, there's absolutely zero chance we would have ever crossed paths or been sharing them out
100%.
So I'm very grateful for that. I think you're a really good dude. I'm rooting for you. I hope we both go to the moon and just continue to grow and
I have a saying that's
get to hunt again.
In me. You can't fail if you don't quit.
Correct. Yeah. So true. So true.
You'll have dips, you'll have highs, you'll have lows, but you cannot fail if you don't quit.
Well, brother, Thanks so much. Everyone subscribe, please, to Outdoors with Travis.
Shaking hands, but we're about to go throw a ghillie on and probably go get at it again.
No, because we've had a few pops. So.
Oh, no, we won't.
We won't.
We have a jacuzzi.
We're gonna try yeah. We're rope back in. We're gonna try a wood-fired jacuzzi, which is nuts. I've never even heard of this. So
I've never experienced it myself.
So we're gonna try.
They put this in since the last time I've been here.
So we're gonna try a wood-fired.
We'll put it in with the video.
Oh, and dude, we're eating zebra too. Like there's kind of crazy stuff.
We're actually leaving right now to go do it ourselves.
Yeah. So we're gonna go process a zebra. We're going to eat zebra. We're going to try the hot tub that's wood-fired.
And get a good night's sleep.
Probably do some target practice, sleep, which we haven't done much of. And realistically, we'll probably have another couple pops over while we're processing the zebra. So
it's a big animal, so it deserves a few.
A few, yeah. We've actually done a good job. We did not have any beverages days we did not get something, which has been a couple.
Yeah.
So we've actually been very good boys. If you're not including caffeine. We've been bad on the caffeine.
I don't even drink this much energy drinks, but
the alcohol...
You are bad influences.
The alcohol, we've been fine. We haven't really been hitting it, but the caffeine, we've been hitting. Yeah. So, but yeah, dude, I'm so grateful to call you a friend now, and I will always, if someone asks about you or whatever, I'll always say that you're a legit dude and a good guy. So I'm excited to see where you go, and we'll... I have a feeling this will not be our last.
I think there's a ton of things in the future.
Yeah.
Whether I come out and check out your event sometime in the States or you come back with a couple of friends, whatever's going to happen.
Yeah.
I do think we need to get Brianna out here. She deserves it.
She does. Oh,
she's been trooping with you.
Gosh, she deserves it, dude.
And
I would love to just film for her and let her.
Because this was like a pilot project, first of its kind.
Yeah.
Testing the waters.
There just wasn't space for it, but
we know it is a success.
Yeah.
We have already made it a success before any videos have gone live.
Yeah.
And so we need to, if you ever come at least once more, we need to get Brianna out here.
100%. You know, it would have been great to have her this time, but like you said, being that it was a pilot, it wouldn't have worked this time, but definitely next time.
And I think if you had to come with her, we wouldn't have,
got so much one-on-one time.
100%. And now that that's there, she can third wheel. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Well, dude, thanks again. And guys, like I said, Outdoors with Travis, please subscribe to that. Check out Ewan's River Safari if you guys want to come check out hunting in South Africa. And we're finally monetized now, so I don't got to push it as much.
Today.
Yeah. Last night, I think, or today, we're over 1,000. So appreciate y'all for subscribing. Go ahead and hit it again. Kind of doesn't matter now, but go ahead and keep hitting it. And
it's some Google accounts and
and 5 stars on Spotify, 5 stars on Apple, and we'll see you in the next one. I appreciate y'all, appreciate Travis, and we'll see you soon.
Cheers.